Dirty Dancing. When that came out, everyone just went nuts over that. They're like, "Ah, it's the greatest ever," and it just hit a nerve with me.
This is the Creator Podcast with Jeff and Gus. I'm Jeff.
And I am Gus.
That's right. And today we have Wildcard.
That's right. Throwing out the old wild card, see what happens.
Put down.
Okay. Yeah, because we got to catch up on stuff anyways. I mean, when we started this thing, for those 45,000 listeners and growing, we forgot, what happened to us. What's our story?
Get to our roots.
Yeah. Let's get Rudy Tooty on this. So you were just where were you? You were doing some snow stuff.
Yeah, I was in Wisconsin for the U.S. Snow Sculpting Championships.
You hear that? That sounds. You can't get much more official with that when it comes to snow. I haven't even seen snow yet, so that must be fun that you were seeing tons of snow. Is it your first time ever out there?
Yeah, so it was weird. So it was my first time sculpting snow at all, So I got asked to do it through a mutual pumpkin carver friend. They won their state championship. Said we got invited to do the nationals. Do you want to come along? I couldn't turn it down. You got
recruited.
Never carved snow in my life, but I was like, okay, I guess I'll figure it out. And yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: did you do anything to practice it? Like for it, did you practice on? And I know that we didn't have much snow here in Pennsylvania, or you're in Pennsylvania. I'm in Delaware, same thing. But you didn't get much, right?
Yeah, I didn't have enough. I was hoping we'd get snow. We didn't have enough to carve for me to practice anything. So I went in cold turkey.
Cold, snowy.
Yeah, when I got there, you're face to face with a 9-foot high, 8-foot diameter cylinder of snow.
Yeah, wow.
And then
that's probably pretty intimidating.
A little bit, yeah. And you gotta, and then you just go at it. But we had done some prep work beforehand, but yeah, it was a fun experience. Yeah, I'm hoping to do more snow. I liked it.
Oh, you do? Okay. So is this going to take over pumpkins or no?
I don't know. I thought about it. It's kind of like and you know me, I like to try and dabble in everything.
Yeah.
And so, with pumpkins, kind of the highest goal in the land for me anyway was getting on Halloween Wars, and I've done that. So
done that. Here we go.
Yeah. Snow. So now that I've done that, it's kind of like, well, let's play in the snow a little bit. But yeah, like you said, we didn't get a lot of snow, so it's hard to actually do that. It's hard to practice. Plus, I don't have any tools. All the tools I used, I borrowed from the other guys on the team.
Okay. Is it expensive stuff, or is it just like, not too bad if you wanted to?
It's a mixed bag. So it's funny because a lot of the tools are kind of these homebrew weapons that people make. Like they just weld metal together and all kinds of different pieces to make all these crazy things. We were using, I think it was a 5-foot saws that people made, like custom 5-foot saws. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, so to get into it, I think it's a little bit expensive. The other thing is, like, I tried to look into. So I was doing it for the New Hampshire team.
Yeah.
And so what it is certain states have state-sanctioned competition. So it's mostly New England states, and then like Iowa, Nebraska, Alaska, but like Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, like the New England states. And so I looked, and there's none in Pennsylvania, and okay. I don't think it's because of lack of snow. It's just they haven't done one.
Yeah, it might be the future.
Well, that's the thing. I'm looking into it. I wanna see if I can get Pennsylvania to do a state-sanctioned competition to be able to add it to the roster of states that compete. So, 2020 goal. We'll see if I can work towards it.
Yeah, you're a winter sport guy. That's like winter crafty. That's pretty intense. I wouldn't be able to handle it. I don't know. I don't like to be. I mean, right now I just put on. Like, I can't have the space heater on while we're doing this because of the noise, so I just put on extra socks. I was like, stay toasty up here. Because where I record is away from most of the heat that's kicking on. But
yeah. Well, I think if you're if you're bundled enough, the cold doesn't really get with you. Plus, like the first day we're hacking away with giant saws, we were sweating, like we were taking layers off. We were down to like summer clothes.
Yeah, once you get the body going, and you guys won, right? I don't think we said that. You guys won a few different prizes, a few different.
Yeah, so there's two different prizes. One is People's Choice that is voted on by the public, like they put ballots in a box kind of thing. And the other is I don't know what it's called, just the overall winner, which is voted on by the other sculptors. So you're judged by your peers.
Okay.
So yeah, our team, New Hampshire, we won first place People's Choice, and we won second place overall, which was very
People's
humbling.
Choice is all that matters because people who bring us together or something. I don't know. I'm just trying to throwing words out.
Yeah, no, but
that's awesome though.
Congrats.
Awesome. That's cool. I mean, you came, you saw, you won. Was there a lot of competition?
So there's 15 teams, three people on a team. So
I would rank you guys like if this was a power rankings, like they do that for football, you'd probably be ranked like number 1 or 2. That's your power ranking.
I guess.
Snow sculpting power ranks. That's cool, man.
Yeah. Plus, they took care of us. Like the people that put it together, the U.S. Nationals people, like Winter Fun and Winterfest. They put together. They put us up. They feed us. It's fun.
That's good. Would they feed you icicles? That was a good joke. Hey, haha!
All the icicles you could eat.
Hey, it's free.
Yeah.
No, that's some good stuff. Yeah. I mean, what else has been going on? Should I talk about me? What's the deal?
Yeah, enough about me. So I heard you were talking about getting this new treatment where they would turn your blood glow in the dark, right? Mm-hmm. Recently.
Yeah, I've been looking into it a lot, and but the facts are, it's just not worth dying over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, they're getting a lot safer with it, I heard, because this has been all the rage for a while.
You've talked about glow in the dark in the past. You love glow in the dark.
I was jealous when he started talking about the procedure because I've been wanting glow in the dark blood forever.
You really want that for sure? For real?
Well, pros and cons, right? So the one thing is if it's bioluminescent, it's different than the way that like a glow in the dark frisbee is. That needs like you give it light and then it retains the light and then releases it. But
wait, we have to have a quick pause here. One time I saw Jeff's trunk and there was about 17 frisbees in the back. So he's not just casually saying frisbee there. You're a frisbee fanatic.
Well, I do have a glow in the dark one, but that's maybe that's how I got hooked.
That's the best one.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I have thought about glow in the dark blood. I think there's ways to do it, but then what's going on? Then you're just glowing all the time. How do you sleep? You're like a nightlight.
Well, I'm sure you get used to it really fast. I was just watching this thing on Netflix about animals at night, that kind of thing. It's new, popping up everywhere, I'm sure. But it's pretty cool how many different animals they're getting into it a little bit with that glow naturally and all that crap. So you'd probably be into that.
Bioluminescence, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that's where we got to go with it. Study who's already doing it, and then just copycat them. That way it won't be I don't really trust man-made stuff as much as like bio, kind of going healthy with it. You got to go bioscience rather than just man-made science stuff. Like, hey, let's just come up with this, and 20 years later you're all dead.
Yeah, well, there's one. I mean, everything is technically natural if you're calling all molecules and chemicals natural. That there's naturally occurring stuff, but
there's like a difference. I think there's natural, and then there is synthetic. Come on, right? We can't say that because I see your point. You're saying like even the synthetic stuff, it's natural, comes from this planet. Right? Is that your thing?
It comes from the planet, yeah. Well, no, I get it, yeah, because like banana flavoring, I think they figured out the molecule chains that make up the flavor, and then so they just make that flavor in a lab by mixing some chemicals together to fake banana flavoring. So technically, yeah, it's artificial because it wasn't made by, I guess, It wasn't made naturally inside of a banana, but
wasn't made nannerly. Yeah,
nannerly. Yeah.
it's good. I like banana flavors. I've always enjoyed it. I guess it's the same flavor.
Like runts? Do you like banana flavored runts?
I mean, I don't eat runts ever, but I think I think if I got a handful, I'd probably, pick those bananas out and be like, oh, those are my favorites. And,
Really?
Just suck on a little nanner. Yeah.
I thought everybody liked the pink ones the best. They're like heart flavor or heart shaped.
Well, hey, that's fine. If I hope everybody does like them. I like to be a little bit of I enjoy being a little bit of the weird guy out.
Now, when you were a kid, usually the only way you would eat runts is from a quarter machine, right? At like the video rental place.
I think that was one of the highest ways to get them. Yeah.
Because I don't remember ever buying a box of runts. Maybe at the movie theater, but
yeah, I don't know if they sold them by the box there. There was this place that I found when I was a kid. I found it. I felt like I was a little bit late in the game, but I was probably 10 or 11, which is not that late in the game. But my neighbors, who I didn't hang out with much, they took me to this health store that was up the street, and this is one of my best experiences as a kid. But in this health store was all health food and stuff, which really didn't exist back in this is like the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. You would say, "Hey, can I see the candy box?" And he would bring out all these like little 10-cent, 25-cent, maybe even 5-cent candies. And it was stuff like runts and other kinds of like weird things that you couldn't get anywhere else really. You really couldn't just go to like a convenience store or anything. And man, I used to love that place. I would walk up there every Saturday morning, and I think he had runts, like I think in a little box maybe, but he had everything. He had like 30 different candies, but it was hidden because it's a health food store.
You can't let the parents know what's going on.
Yeah, it was so cool. Like he just, he would like kind of pull it out of this cabinet and he would show you, and I was like, and the best thing in there was, I think there were 5 or 10 cents, which makes me sound so old, but it was creepy crawler gummies. You only get one gummy, and it was in its own little packaging.
Oh, I remember. Was it like different colors?
Yeah,
like, it was like
really
blue and green and yellow and stuff. It was.
Yeah, they were like the best gummies I think I've ever had. Probably have one now and be like, yeah, it sucks. But as a kid, it's good sugar, good sugary times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Yeah, I'm just I'm painting a bunch of antiques right now on my lap as we're doing this. I got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 8 combined because this thing started with Mushroom Head, where I don't know if I mentioned that in the show ever. Did I mention that on here?
No, the band Mushroom.
Yeah, I've been working with them, and we might get them on here as a guest. At least one of the members, the guy who actually owns, the brand Mushroom Head. They've been around since '93. But yeah, he found me, and he wanted to work with me on some stuff, and so I drove, and he wanted me to drive out and like hang out with him and meet him and really understand what they're all about, which is pretty cool, just because, me doing my thing I do all the time, I'm so deep in my own head, and I really can't connect with anyone that's always doing it, just kind of like, there's no career you could pick to do what I do. There's no school. It's like, hey, go here. It doesn't exist. Like my career doesn't exist on paper really. Right. So, and his is the kind of the same thing. It's like, he's this musician, but he's doing it differently than every other musician. Like you can't learn it. And he sells masks, and I think masks are one of his biggest businesses, that when he's not touring, he's able to make enough money off the masks and support themselves. Like, so, and I think they do pretty decent throughout the year with it all. But so yeah, it's been fun. I've been doing a lot of art for him, and I don't know if it's just his personality or what, but you ever work with someone and like they want one thing and they like what you do, and you thought that's all you're going to have to do, but then they want more and more and more, and you're not sure if he's not happy with the stuff or if he is, and he just, you know what I mean? Like they just kind of get obsessed with the work or that kind of thing, which is great for me because I get to keep working on stuff with them. But it's been like one thing becomes 2 things becomes 8 things, and so on. But it's been fun. It's just been it's the first legit band I've ever worked with. You know.
So he's got you doing multiple of different things?
Yeah. It's like
What do you mean by antiques?
right. Nobody probably doesn't make any sense to anybody. It's just listening. Well, so I've been doing this thing that I call antique horror for like since 1999, I think, or 2000, where I take an antique photograph and I rework it and make it even creepier than it is, or maybe it wasn't creepy at all, but I turn it into this horrific work of art. And lots of people have copied me doing it, tons, but they can never get it right. At least in my opinion, they can't. But so he was drawn to this style of mine, and I think that's the direction he wanted me to go for this album art. And but then he had his own antiques that he wanted me to work with. You know, he's been collecting them for a long time, and so when I got there, he had stacks and stacks of them, and he had me pick through them. So that was really fun because I could just look at a piece really fast and sort of be able to tell if there's something there or not.
And what kind of pictures are they? Are these like old people in portraits and suits and like horse-drawn carriages and like?
I've done stuff where it's that old. That's like 1800s. He has stuff. I'd say it's from probably as early as the 40s to like the 60s, but it's all no color. There might be a few color ones in the 60s, but it's just family stuff for the most part. And it's interesting because I think he's preferring where it's just a moment where they're not really doing that stiff pose, you know, because back in the day you have to do that stiff pose. This is more of like a little moment, and so it was fun because it started off where I'm just doing them. I thought it was just gonna be one image, you know, like here's because that's how I usually do it. Here's one image, and I could sell prints of that image, sell the original, and then it became, why don't you put a, well, I think I thought of this actually. I was like, instead of just one image, I'm going to give him a few options. He's got a decent budget for this stuff. So I said, let me put a few of these together I put it on cardboard, you know, just so it's kind of raw. So I take a piece of cardboard, tape these things on here because I always use tape in these, like a masking tape. And I put them all kind of together, almost like a scrapbook. So, you know, I put them all together, made it all crazy looking, and then he liked it a lot. And when I saw him, I delivered to him like one panel. He calls them panels. I delivered. He really liked it, and then he's like, "I want you to do more," and I did more. And then he said, "How about you make it like layered instead of almost like collagey, layered, kind of chaotic?" So
yeah. So, but not cutting them though, right? Still keeping them as rectangles.
And some of them are squares, and I'll rip some of them. I'll rip them up a little bit, like I'll rip pieces off and kind of layer it more, and it was kind of fun. It looks different than what I used to do with just one image. So it becomes this thing, and I'm working on that now for myself because I have some extras and because I've been, you know, just kind of in the zone with that, and I thought maybe I'll try that as a print and see what people think because it's still one of my most popular things I do is like the antique stuff. It's like probably top 4 of what I make. You know?
And is that going to be for like an album cover, these things, or is that something different?
Yeah, for what I'm doing for them, it's going to be an album cover, which is, I'm guessing, vinyl and also digital. So at least they're still doing vinyl. Vinyl sells pretty decent, I think, for them. I know vinyl, I don't know if I ever mentioned this on air, but I think it beat CDs last year.
Yeah, I think it's on an uptick.
Yeah, it keeps it keeps, you know, outselling CDs, and I guess just people have appreciation of it and get to hold on to something and that kind of thing. But yeah, so I'm excited for. I just hope that it actually comes out with my art on it because I'm not sure if he's unhappy with what I've been doing or if it's just, you know what I mean, or if he's just loving it and wants more options, that kind of thing. So, but I've done a lot of art for them so far. It's been good though. I mean, it's all been paid for, which is half of the fun, and then the other half is just pleasing them, and you know, then giving his fans something to look at. One thing I did do is I take little videos of myself doing it on TikTok. From when we had the comedian on, she told us about TikTok. So
that's right. You're a talker now.
I'm getting there. I got almost 7,000 followers now on there, which is pretty quick. It was much quicker than Instagram. Instagram, it took me about 6 years to get 5,000 followers. I think about 6 or 7 years, which is a long time. But TikTok has been kind of more instant for me. Which is good. I don't feel old then from that, because it's like, oh, what are these wacky kids doing? You know, and you want to hate on it, but at the same time, it's like it's better to try to understand what it is and use the tool for, you know, there's creative tools out there, so nothing like what we had when we were younger.
You don't want to get left in the dust.
No, so many people do. I know so many talented artists that aren't even on Instagram. Like they don't even go on there, and it's like, well, don't they know? Like, yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, it just makes them seem so outdated. The fact that, and maybe they care about a website. They're like, I'm just trying to get a website. I'm like, people don't really care about a website.
Yeah, right. You kind of got to go with the flow. You gotta do. I mean, especially, I mean, that's really just from a marketing perspective. It's if you want to get your stuff in front of people, there's different avenues to do that, and some are better than others, and it's constantly changing. So you got to keep your finger on the pulse.
Yeah, you really. I mean, you should if you wanna stay relevant as an artist, because it's kind of tough enough to stay relevant as an artist if you think about it. It's like,
yeah, I mean, what were people doing? You know, back in the day, it was basically gallery shows, right? To be able to get before internet and stuff.
Yeah, it really depends on how you want to look at it, but I mean, I remember before the internet, what I was trying to do is just make a comic book. That was like that's what I would try to do, and I was interested in that because I didn't even understand what it was like to make a living as an artist for the most part. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, what do you do? Like, I guess there was gallery shows, and then there was those kind of like crafty market kind of things, but no one really appreciated that stuff. No one took you that serious as an artist.
Yeah, I guess with a comic book, you can, you know, if you can get it published, you can get it out there, kind of get it in front of more people.
Yeah, that was my 16-year-old approach. I was like, oh, comics are where it's at. That's the thing. And then by the time I was 18 or something, the comic market crashed. So it all played out kind of interestingly. But the internet is that's what gave me life to survive as an artist.
And what's the next stage? What's the next step after the internet?
I'm gonna go with intergalactic sales. I think aliens would buy the shit out of planet Earth art. I think, and the vice versa. I think we'd want alien art. So I think getting in front of their eyes, whatever they're using, is what we want to do.
Alien art. Now, art is definitely, you know, subjective. So, you know, what we think looks good, an alien might think the opposite.
It's true. I mean, that's true. But I have a feeling. They're going to appreciate some of our artists here. I think.
Yeah. Well, I would like to think that. So, you know, we've evolved over however many years to be the creatures that we are, and we have all these things as humans that set us apart. We have things like, you know, complex emotions, you know, love, hate, greed, envy. But we also have things like entertainment, and art is kind of in that creative category of entertainment. So we have, you know, art is kind of a form of entertainment. You can say movies are a form of art, which are also entertainment. But then you also have sports. You know, back in the day, it was like the Colosseum, where they would throw people to get eaten by lions, and that was their entertainment. So I have to imagine that an alien species that also evolves through some kind of system, whatever the social standards are, I feel like they would still have a section of them that would have something that we would consider to be like what we call humor, or something like entertainment, things that aren't a necessity of life. So if they're building a spaceship, you know, and I don't know how we build spaceships, but I think we throw stickers on them and stuff. Like, you don't need the American flag sticker on a spaceship to make it fly, but we put it on.
They use stickers, you think? For like you think NASA's putting a sticker on?
I think there's like flag stickers on the space shuttle. Yeah. I could be wrong, but you know, it doesn't need to be there. But we do it, it's almost like a decoration. So, you know, you think aliens have, I have to imagine aliens would have something that we would consider like a sense of humor. And it might not be humor, but it's basically things that they do that aren't a necessity of life, but they do it anyway because it makes their existence better.
Yeah.
Because otherwise there would be just, war and chaos and, whatever else forever and ever.
Yeah, I mean, you're going over so many interesting, cool topics. My brain's like lighting up on all these different areas. Like for one, I was thinking about it'd be interesting to do comedy, but your goal is to get aliens to enjoy it. Like, but you don't tell anyone that. So like when you come out with this strange humor, you know what I mean? Like you try to think like, oh, your first show you have to entertain aliens. You don't know what they're into. So whatever that set is that you build, you bring that to humans and see like maybe you'd have a hit. You don't know. It'd be kind of funny. Or it's definitely going to be more interesting than anything they've ever seen before. I would think.
Yeah, I just don't know what the goal would be. I don't know. You don't know who your audience is if you're entertaining the aliens.
To me, the goal is to have fun with it and be creative. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, ultimately, but yeah, you wouldn't know the aliens you're trying to communicate with.
No, that's why you just try it on humans and see what's going. It'd be actually really scary to do it in front of aliens because you don't want to offend them. You don't know if they'll kill you or not.
Yeah.
You don't want to. We understand humans more of what offends us at the current moment too. That's the weird thing. Like we're offended by things today that we're not offended by 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, that kind of thing. So and that makes me think, what are we going to be offended by in 40 years from now? Is it going to change drastically, or is it stuff that we kind of know we should be offended by now? We're like, oh, that's kind of crappy, but we'll give it 30 years.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, can you compare it to like the 60s to the 80s? Was there stuff in the 60s that people were getting away with that they can't get away with in the 80s? And I'm sure there are. It's probably a lot of like.
I think so. I think people were treating different kinds of people in ways where by the 80s it still existed, but I think people were like, hey, now like can we not do that? Like,
right,
come on,
you can't do that.
Yeah, and I feel like, and now all that stuff from the 80s is like no one's going to stand for it. It's just like, some people still do it regardless, but I think we're at the point where like, hey, that's no, we're not accepting that. You lose your job instantly now. It's that kind of thing. So
it's interesting because I know there's, and I think they're called futurists. There's people that, I don't know if it's their job or some kind of degree or special section, but they basically try to predict the future in different areas and try and guess at what's going to happen. And I do that casually every now and then because I think I thought of the foldable phone in the 90s because that's when we had the phones that were the big bricks. They were like a Snickers bar, and then they started getting flat and they were small, and they were so small that nobody could do all the cool stuff we wanted to do. So they started getting bigger and bigger. And then I thought, well, we're gonna have eventually a phone that basically folds out into like it folds down like a couple different times. Right now we only have the half fold, but eventually the LCD or whatever screens they are going to be so thin that we can open it up. But on that note, I had this epiphany the other day. So during the snow sculpting, it was really annoying because some people were smoking, and I can't stand cigarette smoke. I can't stand breathing it. And so I thought to myself, like, oh, like this is what it used to be like all the time back in the day. Like out in the public, people would smoke, and like there's smoke everywhere. And then like people used to smoke. Everyone dealt with it. And then I was thinking about like people used to be able to smoke inside restaurants and doctors' offices and everything, and you could smoke everywhere. And then like we started banning it slowly, and the reason being that they found out that smoke is bad for you, blah blah blah. So I thought about it with phones the same way. I feel like we're on the cusp of finding out like ways that your phone could potentially cause like brain tumors and all this stuff, where we're constantly holding our phone to our head. There's like, whatever waves are going through your phone, blah blah blah. So eventually, when we find out that phones are dangerous, because we'll look back and say, man, back in my day, we used to carry phones around all the time before we knew they were dangerous. So once people start finding out they're dangerous, you're not going to be able to use a phone in public in certain places. They're going to say, oh, in the lobby of the hotel, you're not allowed.
But I think what's going to happen is, I think we're just going to change how phones are. I mean, I think a few things are going to happen. I think you have to look at the whole spectrum. You know what I mean? Like, for one, people are always going to need something like a phone or better, and it's going to probably be better, in the next 10 years, 20 years. The next thing is, with you brought in some health issues. I would like to think that we're going to start putting in these better health options for us, so that we don't have to worry about, shit like cancer and stuff. Like we could rely on better things that are going to cure people faster, or give us a better immune systems, give us better healing factor, like Wolverine. I just think there's going to be some options there where it's going to be. I think all kinds of things are going to change, so we won't be like, hey, get your damn cell phone out of here. I think it'll be more like, we'll have something awesome. We'll have something better in all degrees. And at least we hope that's what we'd have, rather than being this like weird society where like, oh, you're one of them damn phonies.
Well, yeah, I mean, it could go anywhere. I mean, with the medical stuff, I mean, right now we're on the verge of creating new drugs. We're not necessarily on the verge of preventing certain things.
And that's all because of money, though. Like, so many things just come down to money. And it's just stupid. You know what I mean? Like, so much stuff is over money. Like,
well,
you name it.
So definitely all the stuff, and pharmaceuticals too. Like, so, if there's a disease out there, a pharmaceutical company wants to be the first person to find a cure or a treatment for that disease, because they will be a monopoly, and people will have to buy it until it goes off patent. But yeah, they're definitely they're out to make money. They're not looking to cure the disease that they're going to make the least amount of money on. That's for sure. And
yeah, it's strange. I don't know. I almost get too worked up about that kind of stuff, because I look at the world so much differently, I think, than I get to be in my head so much all the time, where whenever I go anywhere, I feel like such an outsider, and I guess that's why I love, making art and not having to worry about what anyone says, in a sense. Like, I don't have to worry about people steering things, because I mean, I don't know. I'm probably ranting on too much in a weird way, but I'm almost scared to say what I think about stuff like that, because I don't want to open up those doors,
To be ostracized?
Yeah, I guess so. I just seen a documentary. I was going to get you on board to watch it, but I was like, well, let me play this out. Let me see how this works out. And because it's really fascinating. I can't think of the title off the top of my head. But it was about this dude who created this device. He invented it, and it was basically, it would get rid of all needed, like, oil, and it would change everything. It would get rid of all nuclear power plants, all oil, that kind of thing. And he created oh, go ahead.
Well, it's real? This is like a real device thing that this guy made, or is this fiction?
Well, it's a documentary. It's real, but it gets really weird. Here's where it gets weird, and this is where it gets good, is where he's trying to get a patent for it, because, the shitty thing about it is, he was an inventor, and he made all of his money previously to this on a different invention, which was those sand weights. You have the sand in the weights. That was the big thing back in the day. I'm sure I don't know if you've ever seen those. I saw them when I started lifting weights. It was a type of weight. Anyways.
I think so.
Yeah, so he made his fortune off that, and then he had this other idea, was his big baby idea. But he didn't want anyone stealing the patent on it. You know what I mean? He didn't want to bring it out to the public, because he didn't want to open source, which he should have just done it that way, because then at least it would be out there, right? So what happens is he's going to get the patent, and he's having the hardest time ever getting it. So he'd have scientists come and look at the device, and they'd all admit this is legit. He figured it out. And what he basically figured out is that he made this thing, and I feel like you'd be able to invent this. I know you would. You're a genius. I think you could figure this thing out. It was almost self-perpetuating, where it would put out more energy than it would need to take in. So, and it was putting out such a vast amount of energy, where it was like mind blowing. You know how much it could, and it would run off little like 2 AA batteries. You know, it was pretty insane looking. So he tries to get the patent. Long story short, they won't give it to him. He figures that he challenges them. The judge appoints the ex-guy of the patent office. He was the head guy. He appoints him to look at it. He goes, if this guy looks at it and it's legit, we'll pass your damn patent, whatever. The guy looks at it, he goes, it's legit. And then he goes, oh, we can't do it, sorry. Like, the judge still wouldn't give him the patent, because, and they're not saying this, but it's obvious, and this is with the inventor, and he slowly loses his mind over this, is like, you know, you're going to put the oil industry out of business. You're going to put all these different huge companies out of business. We're not going to let you fucking do that. And I know there's been other people besides this guy who've invented stuff like this, and they usually end up dead, or their things bought out or whatever. You know, either you take the money or you're dead. But it was just a sad ending. And at the end, when he knew he was going to die, he just destroyed his own machine like 2 days before he died. He destroyed it. It was really fascinating. But it makes me think, like, everything is just, you know, even if you have the cure, or even if you have the solution, that's not all you need sometimes, because you're dealing with people who've been rich for a very long time.
And powerful. They got power. They got people in high places.
Immense power.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what even just the renewable energy, you know, people in general are having issues with. Basically, they're up against, you know, coal and nuclear and oil and all this stuff. So, yeah, those are big people, and obviously they're in competition. They don't want, you know, renewable to be a higher resource than what they're dealing out. They'll lose sales, and that's bad for them. Bottom line.
Yeah, and so it gives a lot of credit to the guy who created Tesla. I give him a lot of credit.
Yeah, Elon Musk.
Yeah, I think he's
old Muskie. I was thinking about him today.
He's probably our you know what I mean, years from now I think he's gonna be like almost like an Einstein or Da Vinci, almost that kind of level, possibly beyond. I have no idea really, but I think he's gonna be somewhere like that.
Yeah. No, I thought of that too, because I was thinking, like, basically I look at Elon Musk as one of the good guys that got enough money to make things happen.
Yeah.
Because I always thought to myself, man, if I had a ton of money, I would be doing so much crazy cool stuff, like to try and, like, you know, invent all kinds of things and make different stuff and help the world out. And, you know, sometimes you get there in other easier ways than others. So it seems like he had those goals too. Finally got some money, and now he's kind of doing his thing. You know, he has the Boring Company. He's selling flamethrowers.
Yeah.
He sent a car into space. You know, so he's like kind of living that dream. And then plus, yeah, he put all of his stuff open source, so anybody can use the technology to help benefit.
When you say all of his stuff, like, is SpaceX open source?
I think it's like all his Tesla stuff, like all the battery plans and all the other stuff.
Okay.
I'm not 100% on it, so, but I'm pretty sure he put all of his stuff up there so other people that are interested can, like, make their own stuff. They could potentially be the next Tesla. Because he wants people to succeed, not be in, you know, this crazy competition where everybody's trying to get at each other. He wants if we all make better stuff, then as a society we grow.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he is one of the good guys, and I feel like he's so smart and calculated that he's willing to play with the bad guys just so that he doesn't become. I think what you got to do is you got to play with the bad guys rather than go against them. And I think he's willing to do that, which a lot of guys wouldn't be willing to do. But I think he's doing that, and I think that's the most brilliant thing he's doing that I don't think anybody really realizes, for the most part. Does that make sense to you at all, or no?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know. I won't get into it because it's too many wacko theories of mine that are just so overlaying. But yeah, I think I do like that him and Zuckerberg are kind of against each other. Like Zuckerberg's pro AI, and this guy's not. He's completely against it.
Yeah, I think he's saying they'll take over the world. It'll be like Skynet, like Terminator.
Yeah, and I think he's more calculated about the way he thinks, whereas I don't think Zuckerberg's thinking of it that way. You know.
Yeah, I can't say much on it. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't say too much either. I don't study that crap all day, but from what I do know, it's something. It's some good things. So did you have an idea for Fright Show Fighter lately, or you have some other app ideas? I know you wanted to talk about something.
Yeah, so my latest app invention. It's called Kitten Kisses.
Kisses for kittens.
That's right. You want to know what it's about?
Sure, lay it on me.
It's about kissing kittens.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever you seen a kitten so cute? You're just like, oh my gosh, and then you just want to give it a little kiss. You're like, oh, that kitten is so cute.
I'm not a cat kisser, but I know there's a lot of people that love it.
Oh my gosh, I know, but like those little kittens, you're like, oh, look at the fluff on that one. So anyway, with this new app, there's a cute kitten, and you are free to give it a little kiss. Boom. Guess what that does? Guess what that kiss does?
Brings you happiness.
That's right. And it brings you a picture of a different kitten. A cute little fluff ball. And then you get to kiss it. Oh, my gosh.
So these are real pictures of kittens rather than... Oh, so that's so easy. That's an easy app.
Yeah. Well,
it's a win-win.
Well, okay, but let's not divulge too much. I mean...
No.
There's no way anybody else could make this, even though I've described it to a T. But
right. Well, and if they do, then you're like Elon Musk, where you just made the world a better place, open source.
Boom. Hopefully, yeah. I want to see 12 kitten kiss apps by the end of this month. I want to see them out there. I want to see competition amongst them. It'll be beautiful. And you know what? May the best kitten kisser win.
That's right. And by winning, we mean... Downloads or money?
Downloads. That's right.
And then they'll get they'll get ads on there, and they'll be making some money.
Yeah. Money. Speaking of downloads, have you been keeping up with Warcraft 3?
No, I don't even know what you're talking about.
See any of this stuff? So
no.
So Warcraft 3 was like an RTS back in the day, real-time strategy, kind of like StarCraft, made by Blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
It eventually spawned into World of Warcraft, which is like the big giant open MMORPG or whatever.
Yep.
But recently, Blizzard released Warcraft 3 Reforged, and this was because that game came out in I think 2002, and so they like revamped the whole thing, re-released it, and now the public hates them. It's this weird thing where this company does so much for everybody over the years. They release all these great games. They release this one thing that people don't like, and they're skewering Blizzard. And I'm like, Blizzard's done so much for you. Why is so much hate? Gus, why so much hate?
I think it comes down to a few things. One, people cling on to these games, these things as their own because they lived with it. And you're fucking with them. You're fucking with their history and their legacy.
Their nostalgia, yeah.
Yeah, and what they love. So you're fucking with that level, and so they're just gonna lash out. And then when you get a bunch of people lashing out, the snowball effect happens, and there might be some people who never would have lashed out at all, but since everybody's doing it, they're jumping in. And there might be people who have no idea, like they don't even know what the fuck's going on. These little kids, and they're like, "Yeah, fuck that, I hate that."
Yeah, I feel like that's what, because you don't want to be the guy that's left out that says, actually, I kind of like the game. I like Blizzard.
Yeah, you don't want to say
you're the asshole then.
You don't want to say it. You're afraid to say that. You might be playing it secretly, like, "Oh, this isn't so bad." But you might be playing it, and you're like, "I guess it is bad." Like, but you know what I mean? But if everyone was loving it, you'd be like, "This is the greatest. I do this, and I feel good. I love it. My friends like it. I'm cool."
Right. It's that sheep mentality. You want to be a part of the flock. You don't want to be the outsider.
Yeah. And I've always wanted to be the outsider. Isn't that weird? Like, I like it. I'm fine with it.
Yeah. As long as so like I wouldn't seek out to be an outsider. Just like I wouldn't like, so if I played the game and I liked it, or let's say I hated it also. Like I wouldn't say I like it just so I could be different than everyone else. I would still, go.
No, and I wouldn't do that either. But I guess for me it was just natural. It was like whatever people really loved, I usually fucking hated it for the most part. It really would drive me crazy. Like Dirty Dancing, when that came out, everyone just went nuts over that. They're like, "Ah, it's the greatest ever," and it's mostly girls, but some guys liked it, and it just hit a nerve with me.
That specific movie just can't stand it.
Yeah, and it's still haunts.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's kind of like that movie Joker, and we talked about it, I think, 2 different times on this podcast. But
oh yeah, we love it.
Everybody liked it, and I didn't like it, and I stuck to my guns. I wasn't gonna say I liked it because everybody else did. I just that's my opinion.
Well, there is this thing that does happen quickly where you see it so much, you get sick of it, and I'm already there and beyond. Like I would never see it again. The original, That would be almost impossible for me. Like I don't see pictures of it now and go, "Yeah, Joker." I just enjoyed it for what it was. But yeah, like to me, things become obnoxious when everyone loves them. It just and you see it everywhere. But yeah, I mean that's cool. You're being honest about it. You're like, I didn't like it. I appreciate that. Because of the anti-villain thing, right? You can't root for the bad guy.
Yeah, it was weird. No, I liked it as a piece of art, but the plot and some stuff, wasn't really working for me. But it wasn't. Yeah. I wasn't saying I didn't like it to be different. That was just my opinion,
Right, and I think we need that. Yeah, we need to have honest opinions and independent stuff.
I think the outsider thing kind of, that kind of starts in high school when you start developing into cliques, and it kind of determines. What path do you want to take? Do you want to be with the popular kids and be cheerleaders and football players and whatever else? Or do you want to hang out with like the punk kids? And I know for you and I, like we were just kind of the punk kids, outsiders, where, it was funny because I hung out with all like the punk kids in high school, but deep in my heart, I liked math and stuff, but you can't really be both. It's a hard dichotomy.
For me, I wasn't even in I wasn't just with like punks. I didn't really have a clique. So I was with a few different cliques, but not really. Like I was just kind of casually. I wasn't part of them. I was just kind of like a guest appearance. That's kind of how I felt with all the different groups I was part of.
Yeah, but did you hang out with the cheerleaders and the football players?
No, and it was only because. And I think about this a lot because I have kids now, but the way I was for the first 16 years of my life is I didn't talk to anybody, not because I was shy, even though everyone thought I was shy and I thought I was shy, but it was because I didn't give a fuck. Like I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be their friends. I didn't want to waste my energy and be like, "Oh, I want to be your friend." You know what I mean? I never had that. And then as you get a little bit older, you feel really weird that you have no friends. So then I would try a little bit. Like I should be friends with somebody. These kids will be easy to be friends with. It was like the lower groups but I could tell I wasn't a hit anywhere. I wasn't having success with any of these groups. It was just kind of a thing. It was a rough childhood, but I wish there was more punks that were like, there wasn't that many where I was. There was a little, it was sort of a little bit, and it was kind of like makeshift punks. But I guess which is what that word is. It's like, these kids like the skateboard and they like art. That's good enough for me.
Yeah.
It was something, but yeah, punk rock. Woohoo! I had an awesome dream the other night where it was and I won't go into it too deep, but it was a really powerful dream, which are my favorite ones, where it feels so real. But the main thing was like I was watching like an 80s movie that never existed, 80s maybe early 90s movie, but it was all about like the futuristic stuff back then. You know what I mean? Because that stuff was always so like exciting back then, like the future shit, like Back to the Future, or any of those like kind of spacey movies. But that's all I want to say. I don't want to go on forever about a dream.
Yeah. So you're gonna make that movie?
Probably. Yeah. Probably eventually. It's a big budget. It's a big budget. That's the problem.
Now, did you ever have a dream and then immediately start writing down after you woke up?
Yeah. I did that the other day with that one. I've done it a lot, and it's mainly when I'm like, that is so fucking good that, oh shit, it's mine. No one else like while you're in the dream, you're like, holy shit, is this good? Like, fuck, how did they think of this? And then you wake up and you realize at some point, you go, wait a minute, that doesn't exist. That's mine. I could take that.
You're like, I thought of that. I'm the one. Yeah.
Which is weird. That's the strangest thing for me, is when you get those kind of ideas, you're like, is it yours? I guess it is. But I mean, part of me believes it's like, I had this idea once, or I don't know what to call it, but it was like, it explained how ideas happen. And because you always hear that saying, like, everything's been done, man. There is no new ideas, man. You know what I mean? You've probably heard that. Like, it's all been done.
Yeah.
Which I don't subscribe to that, but so it showed me that there's all these little ideas, and they look like little packages, and they have legs, and they could fly. And there's tons of them, like almost like how those penguins just like fall over, or whatever animal it is, lemmings, and they just fall over, over the cliff. Well, these were these little ideas, and they just go off, and they keep floating away. I don't know how they made it or whatever, but they go off, and it's whose ever mind reaches out first to grab it, and they get it, and that's their idea, that's theirs. If they didn't reach out, someone else would have got it, And sometimes, well, go ahead.
Well, are you saying that they can come to you while you're awake, or these are things that only come to you while you're dreaming?
Either way, they can come to you. I mean, this idea, I'm telling you, was from a dream of how ideas come to people, but it was just it kind of stuck with me. It's kind of powerful and kind of beautiful.
Like, yeah, dreams are interesting because we still haven't cracked the code on them. Scientists aren't 100% sure what's going on there.
They're not sure about that, and they're also not sure about. I've been researching this a ton lately. After life experiences, after death experiences, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you've been talking about it a little bit. I haven't. You said there was a documentary or something on Netflix. I wanted to.
There's a lot of different stuff out there on YouTube and on Amazon. A lot of it's like super low budget. Like, no one's put a high budget one together yet, which I'm sure they're going to. But it's almost all the same stories. Almost everybody has the same kind of story for the most part of what happens.
And does it have the point of view of like from a medical doctor's perspective?
They never really get in there. They just get into people who had these experiences happen to them when they died.
And like they describe what they saw or felt or experienced.
Yeah, all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll look into it as well.
I was getting into it, and then the guy from Mushroom had actually, the guy that's been commissioning me and stuff. He's really into it, so he kind of like got me back into it. He mentioned that when I saw him out there in Cleveland, and here's the thing I think is most interesting about it is like, I know there's something after life, but I don't want to die. You know what I mean? Like, and I know it's pretty good, but I don't want to die. There's so much shit I want to get done here. There's so much I want to do, and I feel like I have to do it. Like it's my mission. I have to get this shit done. Yeah, it's just that's just strange. You know what I mean? It's like, and I guess that's how it is with everybody. It's like we're here for a reason. We, either we do it or we don't. But yeah, and that's that.
Yeah, and then I'm in the other boat where I think we have when you're gone, you're gone. So you got to do everything you can now. But it still doesn't put a fire under my ass enough to make me, want to do crazy things.
Yeah, like what crazy things would you do, or what do you want to be doing that you're not doing?
Yeah, I don't know. It's tricky when you kind of, if I was living by myself, I might be traveling the world or something. But I have family and things. So when you have other responsibilities, it's not only about your own life and what you want to do, but it's about the people around you as well. And so it's if you're like living by yourself and you're doing whatever you want, traveling the world, and whatever it is you want to do, that's a solo mission, but that's a lonely mission, and that can be really lonely. And I realized a long time ago that life's not worth living without somebody to share it with.
Yeah, Taylor Swift, I think, saying that too.
T Swift says that?
I think so. I was watching her documentary because I was like, let me watch this because it'll make me like her a little bit more. And it actually made me realize, like, I don't even know why I didn't like her really, just because she's just this, you know what I mean? Like,
I was gonna ask,
think a lot of people,
why hate on T Swift? A lot of people don't like Taylor Swift, and I
well,
don't know why.
It goes into that. It kind of goes into that, and I really never hated her. It's just I'm not into like pop music and country music. It's not my go-to thing. But you see her a lot, and you kind of get sick of it. You're like, well, I don't want to hear about this shit. That just kind of happens with me. I'm like, I don't. Can you stop, please? Can I have a break? And I think it's because she's super thin. She's tall. She's really good looking. She's young, and she's really successful. And I think the average person's like, what the fuck? Like, why so many aces? I think people just can't take it, and then therefore they just go, I hate her. But I never pay attention. And the type of people that like her, I never thought were that cool or great. I'm like, oh, yeah, Taylor Swift. So, but yeah, it does make her seem like a really, and I knew it was going to do that, but it makes you really feel for her. And she gets all this success, and she works her ass off, and then she realizes, like, she doesn't have, like, anyone to share it with. That was her. Yeah, she says that.
There you go. Yeah, all the money in the world can't buy happiness.
Yeah, it made me realize, like, and I've realized this before, but it's like no matter what you're doing, you have your own problems and issues to overcome. Nobody's got this perfect life except for Elvis.
Except for Elvis. Didn't he die on the toilet?
Yeah, I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm kidding. Okay, except for Michael Jackson. Nobody has this perfect life. No, but I think nobody really has it, but we all get we all have this weird lie trick where, like, that must be nice, Like, even the lottery thing is like, everyone, they say like 90% of people that win the lottery lose it so fast, it's unbelievable.
The grass is always greener, they say. Well, I think a lot of people think, if I can just get a bunch of money, I'll solve all my problems. But no, everybody has, and this was Judge Judy Scheinlin. I learned this from on the Norm Macdonald show on Netflix.
Oh yeah, she's great. Yeah, that show's awesome.
She talks about, all the stressors you have in your life, and you have financial stressors and health stressors and relationship stressors and family stressors. And, just because one goes down doesn't mean the others go up or vice versa. So, you might be extremely rich, but doesn't mean you're not going to get some health issues or, family problems. So one doesn't solve the others.
Yeah, it's true. And like, for me, I have such high expectations of myself, of myself, or just what I want to accomplish, that I get hard on myself over rejections or setbacks. But at the same time, I'm never stopping. I'm always like, I have this little weird game I play called Work Harder This Year Than Last Year, and it's a weird game, but yeah, I feel like I've been
Yeah.
talking a lot now.
Well,
I know.
you got to be careful. You burn yourself out.
Yeah, yeah, that's something I think so. But then again, I hear about billionaires, and it seems like they're working harder than I am. So like the guy from Tesla, Elon Musk, I hear he like barely sleeps. Like he works like a madman, supposedly. And same thing with Kevin Hart. But then again, I don't know. This just could be. And The Rock, they say The Rock works pretty hard. Dwayne.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. He doesn't have as many career stressors, I would think, because he's not working a 9 to 5. He can do a movie whenever he wants.
Yeah.
He's got time to work out all the time, and
I feel like people are probably like, hey, it must be nice to be The Rock, but like I feel like if they were like woke up and they were The Rock, I think they'd rather live the life they're living, in a sense, because it's probably so much shit to do.
yeah, everything's relative, and it's grass is always greener. And I was thinking about today is like whatever your life is, unless you're completely miserable, you will rationalize anything you do in your life to make sure that what you're doing is correct or right, at least right in your own head. So I don't know what's an example. So like, I work a 9 to 5 job, and in my head, I'm saying, okay, well, I'm working a 9 to 5 so I could pay my bills.
Hmm.
Now, could I quit my job and try and do something else? Well, maybe, and maybe I can make it. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll, lose my mortgage. So I don't take that risk because it's too risky for me at this point in my life. So I say, well, I just have to work my 9 to 5. But then I think like, well, if I didn't have a 9 to 5, I had so much more time to actually like do more art stuff. But at the end of the day, you got to make money and blah blah blah. So I think you rationalize everything that your life is so that you don't seem wrong in what you're doing, if that makes sense. Like,
No, it definitely makes sense. I feel like a lot of people though don't do the rationalization and they just aren't happy. I think they're just really not happy. You know what I mean? I think they're like, fuck, and they're just really hating on all levels. That's what it seems like. That's from what I hear. And I don't know, but I think there probably is a good chunk, and these are probably like the best workers, and that's probably the people who rationalize things and are still there at their job. They didn't check out, and they're giving it their all, and they have hopes for something better around the corner.
right. Yeah. Well,
You know?
let me give you an extreme example. So let's say I'm a guy, I get home every day and I beat my dog and I beat my wife. And
Yeah.
deep down, I know that's wrong, but I rationalize it. Why? Because, well,
You
maybe I saw
probably
my
blame
dad.
them.
Yeah, I blame
Yeah.
them, or I saw my own dad do it, so I can rationalize it. Like it's okay. It's okay to beat my wife. It's okay to beat my dog. I rationalize it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's okay. And then an outside observer would say, no, that's completely wrong. That's bad. But no, that's my life. That's how I do it, and I can rationalize it. Everything's fine, and
Yeah.
I just rationalize it away. Or um, the other thing is I was thinking about goals. So we talk about kind of two very different mindsets of people, and there's the people that want to make and they want to create, and that's they want to make the world better, make things, invent things, do whatever to make the world a better place. Then there's the people that want to get home and they want to sit on the couch, they want to watch TV, eat their dinner, and go to work the next day. And so my thinking was, I was thinking about it a little bit more, is if the goals are similar, or you set a goal and you're accomplishing your goal, then you're kind of on the same page. So for example, if my goal is to be comfortable, that's
Hmm.
my goal. Then when I come home and I sit down on TV with a bag of chips, I eat some dinner, I watch, whatever it is, I go to bed and I go to work. Maybe I'm comfortable in that. And so if my goal is being comfortable, I'm accomplishing the
Your
goal I
goal.
set
Yeah.
forth. But
Yeah.
if my goal is to, oh, I want to, sculpt something, or I want to work on my short story, or I want to, paint this picture, if that's my goal at the end of the day, if I finish that, well, then I'm still accomplishing a goal. So both sides are setting goals and both sides are accomplishing goals. But the the difference is some goals are harder to obtain or are completely different. But the end result is I'm accomplishing goals.
I think, and I think most people go with, I think the cozy lifestyle, I've witnessed that as a kid, like growing up. My friends that I noticed, like, go into a comfy position was the most common. That's kind of what people go for. And I think it's because they don't know any better or have that belief. And I'm not sure on this, but from what I've seen, it's like an entrepreneurship the entrepreneurs have a different mindset, almost as like, it's just kind of like a natural mindset where it's different than people who want to get that income the same way. Like it's almost like a steady income kind of thing. And I think those are almost two different kinds of people completely, where they can't do the opposite. You know what I mean? They're not, their mind almost isn't there in a sense. It seems that way, because I heard, like, I think they said only 5% of people have the mindset of an entrepreneur, but then only a small percent of that actually can make it or something. I don't have the numbers in my head right, but it seemed to make sense. But at the same time, I believe if we just have the tools to get to where we want to go, we could all get there. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I just think we don't have the tools, or we don't figure out these little tricks, which they almost are in a sense. Is because we're not taught the right way. I feel like, in school, it's so backwards. I think what we're taught compared to what we need when we get out of there. I don't think it really prepares any of these kids for like what's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree, and I would definitely say I don't want people to think that we're talking down to people, or we're up on some kind of high horse, like, oh, I make stuff, so I'm better than you. It's no, like, to me, it's like, if that's your lifestyle, if you're cool with just chilling and hanging out, smoking a bowl or whatever you want to do, if that's what you're cool doing, then you're cool. And then I just think I wish more people would want to be more creative, but I can't force people to be more creative. You know what I mean? It's like that's just how some people are, and that's what it is.
No, I agree, and I hope I don't come off that way either. Like I recently was talking to a friend, and I realized he's really happy with the way his life is, and he wouldn't really want to change anything, so much to the degree where he didn't want to get a divorce even though his wife was cheating on him. You know what I mean? And it was but it was like you can become so comfortable in a situation, and part of me envies that, where like you are comfortable with X, Y, and Z, and you don't need anything else. And I almost wish I did have that, in a sense, where I didn't need to constantly overwork myself, overgrind myself. But I think it just, I think everyone's just kind of at a different. I'm trying to think of something that doesn't sound like an asshole, but I was gonna say, like, this goes on to me with the whole life after death thing. I feel like we're at different experience levels. Like, I think some people have lived multiple lives while other people are new at it, and I think we're just trying to grow while we're here. That's what it seems like. It seems like we're just trying to grow and get in advance, and then we move on to the next thing, and then we come back and do it again. Maybe we'll do it as a turtle because we didn't figure something out, or we were assholes. Not that turtles are assholes, but
that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just my theory. I thought, I had this thought deeply today too. I was like, and no one's gonna like this, but I just kind of thought, like, fuck all religion and fuck all governments. They act like they're there to help people, but all they do is separate everybody. That's all it does. Like, I know we have them in place to make people be helpful and to better them and to make sure everything's but it seems like it just separates everybody. It seems like it just makes everyone against each other. Like, fuck you, you're that religion. Ooh, you're that religion. Or, hey, that's your politics. That's mine. And I just think it just causes so much hate.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, less about the government. I mean, the government, it's a necessity, or otherwise you have anarchy. Luckily, we're at least here we're a democracy and not, a dictatorship. So we have that going for us. But yeah, I agree. Definitely, it polarizes people and religion especially. I mean, some religions though they don't really care. If you're that religion, I'm this religion, we're cool with each other. But a lot of times there is that animosity of mine's better than yours and yours isn't any good or whatever it is. I don't know. I don't.
Well, but it almost seems like that's what happens today with like Democrats and Republicans, that kind of thing, where it really seems like, hey, you're on this team or you're on that team, and not many people are just like, hey, I'm kind of watching both sides to see what's going on here. I'm really not trying to take a team here. And they, what? You're this then? I'm like, no, I'm not that either. I'm really just trying to watch everything and make sense of it all. Because why not try that? Like, why not look at everything, the whole picture, and see?
Well, I think definitely the media polarize. They definitely emphasize that and bring that up because I talked to a lot of people that are like that. They're basically like, man, like these Republicans, Democrats are really going against each other, and it's like I'm not a part of that. Are you? It's like, no, not really. I don't really care. It's like, so I think it's this like the media just is like it's us versus them. This whole mentality of like pitting people against each other, and that's why it's like, holy shit, it's going to be like the Civil War all over again. And they didn't even
maybe it's older people. Yeah, maybe it's older people who watch the news, like people who watch it. That's because that's who really seems to get worked up and will.
It really fuels the fire.
And they'll pour out like nasty stuff to people, and it's like, I don't know, man. Like we're all here on planet Earth. This is our home. Planet Earth. We all live here. Whether you believe you're this or you believe you're that, you're still on Earth. And it's like we're all gonna have that sun and the moon. Let's just I know I've kind of said it before, but it's like maybe we should just all try to help each other out and make the planet a good place. But
yeah, it's like the John Lennon song.
Fuck you, hippie.
Well, maybe a different song. That wasn't that song, but
it was that one. Is you artist, damn artist, shoot him in the head, John Lennon asshole. No, and I don't even want to do that. Like I don't want to like, let's do this, but I don't know. I get aggravated from all the just everyone seems to hate each other. It's just I kind of want a better place to live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mars. I'm kidding about Mars. I'm staying here. I'm an Earthling.
Aren't we all?
We're all Earthlings, man. We should just be happy about that. Yo, what's up, Earthling? Thanks,
and
man.
So I think this episode, the Wildcard episode here, I think the message we're trying to leave everybody with is can't we all just get along in peace and harmony on this planet together?
Yeah, except for Taylor Swift lovers. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, right. Good fun stuff. Hope we didn't seem preachy in any way. I don't think we're trying to do that. We're just blabbering.
We're just two guys just talking, having a conversation.
That's right. Just two guys sitting on the back porch whistling.
Yeah, but thanks for listening, everybody. You made it to the end, so you're our favorite fans. And
hope you guys enjoyed it and didn't get upset in any way, because we just want to give you a nice kitten kiss.
Yeah, and if you made it this far, make sure you hit us up on Instagram. We'll give you 15% off our podcast subscriptions from now until March.
That's right.
So give them the promo code, Gus, to leave in our Instagram.
You use code Jeffy100.
That's right, and then you'll get that extra bonus feature. So
15% off, and we love you.
All right, and next week we'll have another special guest on, so join us for that.
We do. Oh yeah, I'm excited. All right, cheerio.